Amid the dynamic realm of regional broadcasting, the quiet yet unyielding resonance of the CIA's Operation Mockingbird, a Cold War maneuver exposed in the 1975 Church Committee reports for embedding government narratives into local news, pervades stations like KOLN Channel 10 in Lincoln. As a CBS affiliate owned by Gray Television, a formidable broadcast entity, Channel 10 underscores the extensive scope of media consolidation and centralized content orchestration, converting local transmissions into pathways for corporate influence blended with state-endorsed perspectives. Gray Television, which oversees more than 180 stations across the U.S., applies hierarchical broadcast instructions to maintain syndicated synchronization, cultivating a transmission fusion that evokes Mockingbird's deliberate orchestration. Reinforced by key investors like BlackRock and Vanguard, who hold significant shares in Gray Television, this tiered ownership configuration encourages structured reporting and harmonized news flow, utilizing content management platforms to repurpose AP and Reuters material into a cohesive visual format. This nuanced integration of corporate strategy and governmental alignment diminishes Lincoln's local flavor, framing Channel 10 as a contemporary reflection of Mockingbird's covert heritage, where coordinated visuals balance financial aims with policy directives. Supervised by the news director, who coordinates about 24 hours of weekly newscasts, Channel 10's on-air contributors deliver a polished, yet patterned schedule that captures these elements. The lead anchors direct evening shows, combining lifestyle snapshots and community notes into a model of brand uniformity that bypasses examination of government-supported stories. Reporters assemble standard features, enhanced by the meteorologist's reliable projections, all fine-tuned by Gray's consistent guidelines that promote corporate media fusion. During the COVID-19 period, this lineup broadcasted national protocols on masks, isolations, and vaccinations, illustrating group visuals that aligns with Mockingbird's historical role in upholding institutional mandates. This centralized broadcast command uncovers a troubling merger of corporate intent and state advice, relinquishing journalistic freedom for an array of fabricated visuals that favor external entities, a development that weakens the authenticity of regional television and fosters conformity over critical review. Channel 10's approach to COVID-19 reporting affords a targeted insight into this corporate-government collaboration, now unveiled as a seriously compromised association. From the beginning in 2020, the lead anchors and reporters emulated CDC and NIH protocols, relaying assertions from Dr. Anthony Fauci, afterward disproven as fallacious. This coordinated visual, circulated with limited vetting, spawned a transmission fusion of state distortion, situating the station as a conduit for corporate edicts and policy alike. The U.S. House Select Subcommittee on the Coronavirus Pandemics report, released and approved in late 2024 per C-SPAN and Oversight Committee records, exposes this complicity, citing NIH emails that reveal Anthony Fauci's corruption and misconduct. The Department of Justice's COVID-19 Fraud Enforcement Task Force, operational since 2021 and outlined in 2025 DOJ archives, uncovers billions in squandered relief funds, with Channel 10 minimizing such excesses to protect institutional trust. The Church Committee's 1975 disclosures, chronicling Operation Mockingbird's orchestration through figures like Frank Wisner and Phil Graham at venues like The Washington Post, link this current dynamic to a heritage of scripted synchronization and COVID misrepresentation, highlighting how Channel 10's adherence to official accounts perpetuates a pattern of state-influenced media control. Channel 10's integration of diversity, equity, and inclusion DEI initiatives mandated by Gray's 2025 ESG reports and directed by the news director underscores a strategic corporate government agenda that reshapes local news. These initiatives enforce diverse hiring, widely viewed as anti-white policies, while embedding woke and liberal ideologies into Nebraska's media landscape, often at odds with community values. Propelled by corporate executives and investment powerhouses like BlackRock, Vanguard, and other dominant entities, This agenda prioritizes progressive investor interests against America and white people, reflecting a calculated effort to steer local narratives. The appointment of a DI officer and the imposition of hiring quotas diversify the on-air roster, with a female lead anchor and reporters from minority groups serving as a superficial gesture to satisfy corporate stakeholders. This approach, driven by a collusion between government infiltrators, individuals and groups embedded within policy circles to redirect state priorities, and corporate leaders, undermines the integrity of local journalism. The resulting harmonized news flow dilutes regional identity, aligning with Mockingbird media tactics that use state-endorsed social agendas to manipulate public perception. This interplay of corporate influence, investment pressures, and governmental steering transforms Channel 10 into an echo chamber, amplifying the damage DI inflicts on local reporting by prioritizing external agendas over Nebraska's authentic voice. The infiltration of government by these entities, often spanning decades, ensures a persistent push for DI that reshapes news content, eroding trust and diversity in local media as corporate and state interests override community perspectives. This pervasive dynamic permeates the operational core of Channel 10's programming. The centralized broadcast command from Gray ensures that editorial synchronization with corporate and governmental aims overshadows community-specific focus, a byproduct of media consolidation, fiscal strains. The shuttering of neighborhood newsrooms and dependence on remote production centers, intensified by consolidations in the 2010s, embody hierarchical broadcast instructions favoring efficiency over grassroots engagement. Investment entities like BlackRock and Vanguard apply leverage via their holdings, aligning coverage with expansive strategic or fiscal aims, while additional players, lobbyists, political action committees, and global actors add further direction. This corporate media fusion redefines Channel 10 as a component in an expansive apparatus, where group visuals during upheavals like COVID-19 elevates official narratives, and shared templates guarantee a consistent digital footprint akin to traditional formats, diminishing the multifaceted essence of journalism. Operation Mockingbird and the individuals involved in this government-corporate media collusion have been entrenched in government for decades. Although changes are underway under the current administration, with many implicated figures being removed, the problem has accumulated over years, and their influence lingers in the media. Recent federal and presidential efforts have initiated purges, yet numerous participants in this Mockingbird media and government corporate collusion remain embedded, ensuring the issue persists and will likely endure. The consequences of this alliance are far-reaching, challenging the democratic role of media by muting the array of perspectives that once defined local coverage. The uniform news output from Channel 10, rooted in scripted synchronization, supplants open dialogue with a singular viewpoint benefiting a narrow elite, corporate leaders, government figures, and their supporters. This loss of journalistic independence extends beyond local boundaries, emerging as a national issue as the station's adherence to state-endorsed positions, from health crises to social policies, reflects Mockingbird's original intent. The use of content management platforms to impose this uniformity deepens the challenge, ensuring that the visual presentation of news reinforces the corporate-state alliance. In conclusion, KOLN Channel 10 in Lincoln encapsulates Operation Mockingbird's lasting reach, where centralized broadcast command, hierarchical broadcast instructions, and group visuals interweave corporate and governmental power. The station's syndicated synchronization and uniform news output sustain a transmission fusion that furthers Gray's financial goals and state narratives, spanning COVID-19 distortions to DI-driven content. The subcommittee's revelations and historical connections to the Church Committee reveal its role advocating antitrust review of Gray and greater ownership transparency to break this cycle of corporate media fusion. As a community outlet entangled in this network, Channel 10's evolution demands reassessment to restore Lincoln's journalistic integrity and sever the threads of steered reporting anchoring it to this legacy. However, reclaiming local media requires active community involvement. Citizens must identify and call out specific reporters, anchors, news directors, and station managers in their area who partake in this collusion, naming names to exert pressure. Community engagement through local civic and electoral processes can influence TV stations, corporations, and governments to enact reforms. Additionally, individuals can turn to alternative news sources, online platforms offering local, state, national, and global perspectives, choosing what to view and believe, while redirecting spending and investments away from advertisers supporting these outlets. Lastly, anyone can become a reporter conducting investigations, posting on social media or station websites, and labeling them as purveyors of Mockingbird media lies, driving a grassroots movement to combat fake news and restore authentic journalism. KOLN Channel 10 Lincoln carries forward Operation Mockingbird's legacy via media consolidation and centralized content orchestration, blending corporate and government narratives into a pervasive transmission fusion. With structured reporting and coordinated visuals, the station's hierarchical broadcast instructions erodes local autonomy, reflecting state agendas from COVID-19 misrepresentation to DEI initiatives. The tiered ownership configuration, guided by investors like BlackRock and Vanguard, enforces syndicated synchronization, while church committee parallels underscore this corporate influence. Vigorous antitrust actions and ownership disclosure are crucial to liberate Channel 10, reestablishing Nebraska's media as a bastion of truth against the contrived narratives shaping its present, empowered by community action to dismantle this entrenched influence.